Welcome back everyone to EU4 with the Great Culture Wars, and finally a huge war that I've been waiting for such a long time. But this one is actually even more interesting than I thought. So as you can see, we've got several main combatants. We've got the Austro-Hungarian alliance on one side and sort of the Turkish alliance, I would say, on the other side. But there's more to it. Obviously, this is what I've meant. The Turkish have declared several smaller jihads here and there, and further, advanced into mainland Europe. And I said that there's no one really there to stop them. Ever after, Romanians, the Bulgarians, all these kinds of small nations got broken apart. It was really just the last bulwark was the Hungarian-Austrian alliance, kind of kept the Turkish at bay. And finally, we see a big war between them. Now, this is actually a war that was declared by Romanians, who are allies of the Turkish. This is known as the War of the Romanian War of the Romanian Purge of Austrian Heresy. There we are. Now, let's look at this a little bit more, because we have several things that we need to take into consideration about this war. Now, we have obviously religious considerations here. We've got the Reformed Austrian and Burgundians on one side. They're both fighting together against the Romanians. This is officially what this war is about. It's about Catholics and, I guess, Sunnis on one side against the Reformed. But that's not 100% true, because we've also got the Reformed Croatians who are fighting on the Romanian side. So this is just obviously officially what it's about, but this is not really what it is about. So let's look at this a little bit more in detail. We have obviously one interest, and that's the Turks. The Turks want to go further into Europe, and they're being stopped by the Hungarians. So this is why the Turks are in this war. The Romanians, they're claiming religion as being interested. I think it could be because they maybe want to cut off Austria from the coast. I really have no clue. Maybe they just want to grow more powerful. Maybe they have been coerced by the Turkish to declare this war. We simply don't know. But they have declared it in the first place. They brought in the Neapolitans. The Neapolitans are probably just joining in on this war because they're kind of sandwiched between the Romanians and Turkish, and they kind of want to please them. They don't want to piss them off, especially after they have just taken Ancona, kind of snatched it away under their nose. They feel like they kind of owe up, or that they owe something to the Romanians, so therefore they're going to join in on this war. The Croatians, in my opinion, they're just here for personal gain. They looked at the scary Turkish and they decided, you know what, I'm rather going to side with the Turkish, like the Greeks did, and it worked out well for them, rather than fight the Turkish menace. We know the nations and cultures that stood up against the Turks, the Bulgarians, Albanians, Romanians, they're all exiled. They're in the Caucasus hiding out. So really, you shouldn't do that. The Venetians got wiped out, the Transylvanians got wiped out, so you should do it like the Greeks and ally the Turkish. So this is what the Croatians are doing. Now the Franconians, they're in this war as well. They could have, maybe a rivalry with the Burgundians. They do have some claims here, maybe that's why they're interested. But I think what's more important is this is a war for German dominance. If we have a look at the political map mode here, you see that there's not that many great German nations around. We have obviously the Franconians, arguably the strongest German culture, and then we have the Dutch, but the Dutch are in a personal union. We've got the Prussians, but they're kind of far away. We've got the Saxons, but the Saxons actually just lost the war defending Sweden there. They had to give up a province to the Flemish right there, and they had to actually free or give up one province here to the Pomeranians. Now, I don't think this is really a big deal. They'll probably get that one back, but still, the Saxons have just been weakened. So the only other German culture that could sort of rival Franconian dominance in this region are the Austrians. So I think this is why the Franconians are going to war with the Austrians here. And as you can see, it's devastating. The Hungarians already got their heartland completely besieged, and the Austrians just gave in. So there was this war. Man. That was cool. We didn't actually see a whole lot of this war because I was talking over that. We didn't see any battles. You know what, guys? I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I probably should have moved in and not zoomed out that far. But I kind of like to talk about the whole impact this had. So the Austrians, yeah, they obviously lost 3 provinces in this to the Romanians, at the very least. The Croatians did not grow. Did they grow more powerful? They might have. They might have grown yeah, the Croatian actually gained provinces here. Now, the Turkish didn't, but the Turkish know, look at this, we're surrounded by allies, and we just weakened the only faction that was able to stop us. So now, they can do whatever. They can just go and go rampant, basically, here in these lands. Now, I think that the Burgundians had to give up 2 provinces as well. So yeah, this one that they just conquered from the Swiss, and then this province as well. So yeah, this was a huge victory for everyone involved. I mean, the Croatians gained land, the Romanians gained land. Neapolitans didn't, but as I said, they're here just kind of to please their neighbors because they took Ancona away from them. And the Turkish, they didn't actually take any land just yet, but they know Europe is open for further Turkish jihad, and I think we're going to see that very soon. Probably a declaration of war against Serbia. I think Croatia is safe for now, at least if they get rid of this independence guarantee of Serbia. That's not a smart thing. So yeah, Turkey, they're just going to wait for the truce to run out with Hungary, and I think then they're ready to pounce. I mean, it's 15 years, so it's actually quite a long time. Maybe they're not going to declare war so soon, but still, that was a huge bonus to them. They still have that alliance, but Austria is significantly crippled. They won't be able to support Hungary in a war all that much. And if the Turkish bring in maybe even their buddies in Syria or Crimea, they could easily waltz over Hungary now because they're basically left without any notable allies. Yeah, look at the Czech, look at the Austrians, look at the Bulgarians. This is nothing. Hungary is isolated. And that was a huge, major power play by the Turkish here. I think I at least give the credit to the Turkish that they're the ones orchestrating this, because it clearly wasn't because of religion. That we can say for sure, because the Croatians are reformed as well. So that was certainly not the reason. So yeah, I think that was pretty amazing right there. Now let's check out some of the other wars. There are no other wars. No other wars. Now, one war that we kind of missed because I went forward some days in between episodes was another war. The Flemish declared a war together with the Finnish and the Prussians against the Swedish. So the Finnish took one more province here and maybe another one, I can't really tell, and the Flemish took one province away from the Swedish here. And as I said, the Saxons were involved in that as well. They lost also 2 provinces. This one from the Pomeranians, they're probably going to get back. I don't think the Pomeranians have anyone supporting them, so yeah, it's just a matter of time until the Saxons... In fact, they probably should go after this right now. Now, the Saxons do no longer have their alliance with the Franconians. So yeah, I have all the more reason to think that this war the Franconians participated in was really to exert their dominance. So the Franconians are undoubtedly the dominant German culture. And you know, there was... I mean, I think there was... Even before that, they were stronger than the Austrians, but you know, at least the Austrians could have kind of rivaled them. But now, that is certainly no longer the case. So, very nice. Very nice. Nicely done, I must say. Nicely done. And here's the thing. Had the Hungarians... The Hungarians don't have an alliance with the Silesians. I'm not sure what happened there. They're the same dynasty. They used to get along, but they no longer do. And that is so bad. Because I think the Silesians, they are still powerful enough to, you know, maybe... help out the Hungarians. I mean, they've got about 90,000 men. That's good. That's way more than the Hungarians have. If they get an alliance, they could still stop not only the Turkish, but also the Muscovites. I mean, for now, the Muscovites are happy to take over Karelia, Ryazan, and Sami, but eventually, they're going to turn on the West. I mean, they've already devoured Poland, so it's only a matter of time until they go after Silesia. And by the way, Poland's actually gone. I just noticed that Warsaw, which was the last holdout of the Polish, has now been completely taken over by the Silesians. It looks much better this way, so I think this is why I didn't even notice it. Alright, so I believe we have some... No, we have no more wars going on. Well, that's interesting. That certainly is interesting. Okay. The Swiss are taking attrition in their own lands. That's kind of stupid on their part, but okay. Now, one thing I also want to talk about while we don't have any wars going on, in terms of dynasties, we obviously got these 3 French provinces, right? But we should also, these 3 French cultures, we should also mention that Sardinia has that same dynasty. So the Montmorency dynasty has 4 has control over 4 thrones, basically. This is a big deal. This is really a big deal. One other thing that I should mention is that the Alba family also has control over the newly independent Galician Louisiana. In fact, yeah, so they have control over here. They could get a colonial nation, or they could get a personal union over a former colonial nation. It's possible. That would be funny. That'd be really funny to see. But yeah, now I would like to see if anyone is thinking about integrating their personal... No one is. Why is nobody integrating their... Oh, finally. Okay, so there it is. So I've been wondering why no one was integrating their personal unions, but the Danish are finally doing it. That's good to see. They actually have grown in power significantly here, and there was a war. I knew it. Pomerania is gone. Well, they are still here in Gotland, but they lost their mainlands here. The Danish have, you know, repeatedly declared wars on not only Pomerania, but also Norway. They took Saturn away from them, and you know, grew their power base here in North Germany. And they really have a nice foothold. This is about half of their development. The other is Denmark proper. So, you know, they just really got to get their cores back if they still have them here. Yeah, they really got to get these 4 provinces back from Normans. That would make them look so much more powerful. And yeah, the Saxons at least got their 1 province back as well, so that's nice for them. They're overall they're still sort of valuable, but yeah, on their own, they're not much use. They really need some powerful allies. They still only have the Wallonians. Don't think that's enough. Don't think that's enough if, you know, the Franconians come knocking also. So yeah, you definitely gotta get some more friends. And what did I say? What did I say? It's now the Muscovites going after Hungarians. I knew that. As soon as it was seen that this Austro-Hungarian alliance that was kind of stabilizing this realm, or this area, as soon as the other powers noticed that they're not invincible, they would pound them. And that is exactly what happened. And this is so funny. The Turks just sit back and laugh at this, because the last bulwark of Christianity is kind of fallen. And, you know, I don't know. The entire Balkans are basically at the mercy of the Turks. In fact, is it Croatia at war with the Turks? Yes, it is. So, I almost... Oh. Okay, so this is something I did not expect. Okay, so let's check that out. I thought this would be a war simply over Serbia, but clearly it's not. This is more. Okay. Alright, so let's pause for a second and check this out. So, first of all, we've got the Finnish going against Silesians and Czechs, trying to take over Stolp. Okay. Now, this is actually sort of interesting. I mean, it's basically Silesia against Finland and Latvia. Highlanders not too important. Czechs certainly not important. Okay, so this is after... This is for Danzig or Stolp. Okay. Actually... Wait, what? Oh, this is just a conquest. You're losing this. So you might lose Danzig to the Silesians. Okay, this is one war. Then we've got the Ruthenian reconquest. The Ruthenians declared this war on the Hungarians. So the Muscovites are not even the perpetrators here. They're just the ones joining in. And they're bringing the Romanians along. Well, they're just kind of exiled. So they don't really matter. It's the Ruthenians trying to take some of their lands back. And they've got plenty of cores. They've got 5 cores here, and they definitely want to get that back. And perhaps Muscovy is even going to get 1 province out of this peace deal. I wouldn't be too surprised about that. And the Czechs are involved in this as well. Poor Czechs. They're not going to lose any provinces, but they will lose. They will lose just because. The Austrians are obviously trying to help their friends, but they failed. But this is the big deal. Turkish jihad against the Croatians. So apparently the Turks, happy with with seeing the Hungarian alliance break apart, they think they can now allow themselves everything. Do you say that? I don't know if you say that, but they feel like they can just do whatever they want. So they declared a jihad on the Croatians. The Croatians are being supported by the Franconians and Romanians. So I think this is a lot of scheming going on here. The Romanians did want to use the Turks as their allies, and wanted to exert their dominance here, and so did the Franconians. I think they used these wars for personal gain, but they now want to stop the Turks. I don't think they're too happy with the Turks encroaching on Europe either, because once the Balkans have fallen to the Turks, guess who's going to be next? Yes, Italy. So that's not really a big surprise there. There's a huge battle going on. We've got Syrians, we've got Turks, Romanians, Franconians. I'm missing Greeks here, but they're probably in there as well. And it looks as if it was a victory for the Christians here. Wow, but that was a hard-fought battle. We'll see how that will continue in the future. But for now, it looks like the Croatian alliance is making some progress. Now, on the Turkish side, we've obviously got their best buddy Syrians. They obviously have the same ruling dynasty there, so of course they fight this together. And the Greeks, who have long ago decided that they will abandon their orthodox ways. Well, they're technically still orthodox, but they have bent the knee to their Turkish overlords and decided to just be some sort of a puppet and go along with their things. But you know what? I think the Greeks are not... They're not one-sided like that. I think that there's more to it than that. And wow, 166,000 Muslims, but there's too much of Christianity going on here. About 200,000 men defending the province on Consort here. Now they're still not managing to take over this hill fortress. As long as they have this hill fortress under control, the Turks have a chance of getting in this. If they attack this hill fortress, they would have a good chance, but they're always going against the mountains. I'm not sure why they're doing this. They should go and fight in the hills where they get the bonus. That's very stupid of them. I don't quite understand their reasoning there. They've got mountain fortresses here that they can defend in. Why are they going and attacking into mountains? It makes no sense. Go and attack this. It's so stupid. And they keep doing it. They have less men and attack into mountains. Well, alright, well I guess the Turks will be stopped like that, because they're just dumb. But in the meantime, the last remnants of the Hungarian Empire is being sort of wiped out. I mean, the Hungarians still have their heartland under control, but they'll lose the east. They'll lose everything that's east of the Carpathian Mountains. It's simply going to be gone. They won't be able to hold on to that. The Silesians are winning the war against the Finnish, so I think that Danzig is most likely going to change hands. And, oh... I didn't know that the Finnish were leading a personal union over the Latvians. How did I miss that? That must be new. That must be new, in fact. Okay, well that's interesting, to say the least. Very nice. Alright, so yeah, the Finns are definitely powerful. I mean, now all they gotta do is they gotta finish off the Karelians, they gotta finish off the Novgorodians, and then the Estonians, and they're really set. I mean, maybe they can kind of split Sweden. I mean, they definitely, you know, gotta take this province just to connect their lands, and then maybe give some lands to the Highlanders. You know, after all, they're allies, and they really are the strongest Scandinavian power here. Very nice. Okay, so we've got the Turks beaten again, but I don't see this huge, massive amount of Christian forces anymore. They are going to have to besiege all kinds of hill and mountain provinces if they want to be successful, and the Turks are now sending an expedition force themselves to take Travunia, which is a mountain province. Not a fortress though, so I'm not really too sure about what's going on here. This hill, don't let that hill... Why would you let this hill province fall? I don't get it. I don't get it. Now they're fighting some battles here. If the Turks get to reinforce in time, ooh, this is a victory. This is a victory for the Turkish forces, and they also reclaimed this hill province. Huh. Alright, so the Turks and the Greeks, under Greek leadership, they decided to avoid fighting in these hills for now, and they have moved on to Slavonia. Interesting. Alright, Ruthenia has managed to reconquer 4 of their 5 core provinces, and Volhynia has rightfully gone to the Muscovites. This is just what they deserve for helping out. And yeah, Hungary has significantly been reduced in size. There's another big battle going on. Oh my god, I love this. But the Romanians are force marching into this. So are the Syrians though. I mean, this is still undecided. 100,000 men. The Muslims got the upper hand here with the morale boost. Ooh, but 70 Franconians just, boom, pounded right in and saved the day for the Christians here. Wow, that was big. But let me quickly check out the war score here. The Turkish are obviously losing heavily from battles, -40, which is pretty insane. Now, we've got the Occitans finally interested in going after this last Galician province here. They want to take Garb, but they're being stopped by the Moroccans. They don't want the Occitans to gain any more power in North Africa. I understand. And then we have the third Portuguese conquest against, or crusade against the Ashanti. Now, actually, by the way, the second war we saw, that actually concluded off camera. And basically, we saw the Scottish successful in defending the Ashanti. I'm not really sure why they are interested in defending the Ashanti, but they were successful the first time around when the Occitans were helping them out. So I suppose they will be successful this time as well. At least I think so. Maybe not. I have no clue. Obviously, it doesn't really matter to me all that much. So the Vallonians decided to declare war on the Flemish. They have the Normans on their side and the Burgundians. Okay, so there is a strong French alliance. Ooh, I see. So this is maybe directed against the Flemish, but this could also be revenge of the Burgundians to take back their cause from the Franconians. They've got 3 cores there. The Vallonians have some claims here as well, so we'll see how that goes. The Franconians are obviously now going to have to pull out of this war with the Turks, because they're going to have to defend their home front against the very powerful French cultures here that are kind of pressuring in. So they have managed to kind of secure the dominance, the German dominance, but now they're hard pressed to keep on to their newly acquired territory. So we'll see how things turn out. This could obviously significantly weaken the Romanian-Croatian alliance, because if the Franconians are pulling out of this war and the Turkish, are willing to continue this, they will probably win. I mean, yeah, these battles are abysmal. Negative 40% war score. This is something that's going to be difficult to take back, especially because the war goal is winning enough battles. So this is going to be difficult for them. But if they are persistent, they might still manage to win this war. So we'll see. This is a big gamble. It was definitely done relatively poorly on part of the Turkish. They didn't really play this smart, but yeah, they might win in the end. Anyways, though, I think this episode has gone on for far too long already. I guess we'll leave off here with another look at the great powers. The Leonese are no longer number 1. The Occitans are number 1. The Normans, Syrians at number 4. The Catalans at number 5. Wow, they must have really gained. Yeah, they have just exploded in the colonies here. Wow, that is insane. That I would have not expected. The Crimeans and Ryazanians, number 7 and 8. Interesting. Certainly interesting to see that there. But yeah, that was it for now. I think I'll end this episode here. We'll see more in the next episode. And yeah, I want to thank you so much for watching.